Good morning, everyone. Today is 27th of June 2023. I've entitled this video "To Marvel and Be Amazed." You might want to do a word study sometime on those two words, marvel and amazed. The word amazing is not in the Bible, but the word amazed is in the Bible several times. You know, John Newton wrote the song Amazing Grace. John Newton was born in 1725 in Gloucestershire, England, and when he was a boy, his mother died, and his father abandoned his family. So John had to take on many responsibilities when he was younger, and as a result he turned to business and took over the family business of slave trading. He also married at a young age and had several children, but his wife died after giving birth to their first child. Newton sold many people into slavery throughout his life, including fellow countrymen and his own family members he sold into slavery. One time he even sold himself into slavery as a slave trader to recoup some of his debt. Now, a lot of people don't know this, but after his conversion, he actually founded the West African Methodist Episcopal Church. Well, the point is, amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me. I once was lost, but now am found, was blind, but now I see. Well, you know, for God's people, we can all say that, can't we? Was there a time in our life when we were blind to the truth? You know, here John Newton actually sold people into slavery and sold his own family members into slavery. But God was still merciful to John Newton. Well, if we look in the Bible at the word amazed, you know, when Christ said that it's harder for a camel to go through an eye of the needle than a rich man to enter into the kingdom of heaven, the disciples, when they heard it, they were exceedingly amazed, saying, "Who then can be saved? Who then can be saved? If a rich person can't get into heaven, then how can the poor person?" In other words, in their mind's eye, it was based on people's merit. But Christ said it's not based upon wealth or poverty or race or nationality or anything. It's based upon God's grace. There were many people that were amazed at Christ because they had known him as a child. And Matthew 12:23 says, "And all the people were amazed and says, Is not this the son of David?" Luke 9:43, "And they were all amazed at the mighty power of God. But while they wondered, everyone, at all these things which Jesus did." You know, if we had been living during the time of Christ, I'm sure we would have been amazed. We would have marveled at his power. when Christ worked these miracles, people stood in awe. Remember when Christ healed the crippled man and told him to take up his bed and walk, and immediately he arose, took up the bed, and went forth before them all, insomuch that they were all amazed and glorified God, saying, "We never saw it on this fashion." Mark 2:12. Luke 5:26, and they were all amazed, and they glorified God, and were filled with fear, saying, "We have seen strange things today." Well, they were not only amazed that he had the power to calm the seas, but they were amazed that he could actually even cast out unclean spirits. Luke 4:36, and they were all amazed and spake among themselves, saying, "What a word is this? For with authority and power he commandeth the unclean spirits, and they come out." He even amazed his own father and mother, you know. Remember when they were traveling and they looked and they couldn't find their son, and they had to go back to try to find him, and when they saw him, Luke 2:48, they were amazed. And his mother said unto him, "Son, why hast thou dealt with us? Behold, thy father and I have sought thee sorrowing." And that's when he answered them, "Know ye not that I must be about my Father's business?" Well, there were a lot of people amazed at Christ and his power. And when he came up out of the grave, a lot of people were in amazement too. When they went to the grave and they found that the grave was empty, they went out, Mark 16:8, they went out quickly and fled from the sepulchre, and they trembled and were amazed. Neither said they anything to any man, for they were afraid. Well, anyway, that's something that we find, that many people were amazed at the mighty power of God. Amazing grace. How sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me. If we believe that Jesus Christ is truly the Son of God, and he came into the world and he died for the sins of his people, then that does leave us in amazement. Now we're going to look at the word marvel a little bit. Marvel is found 11 times in the Bible. 1 John 3:13, "Marvel not, my brethren, if the world hates you." 1 John 3:7, "Marvel not that I said unto thee, ye must be born again." John 7:21, "John answered and said unto them, I have done one work, and ye all marvel." John 5:28, "Marvel not at this, for the hour is coming in which all that are in the grave shall hear his voice." Mark 5:20, "And departed, and he began to publish in Decapolis how great things Jesus had done for him, for all men did marvel." John 5:20, "And for the Father loveth the Son, and showeth him all things that he himself doeth, and he will show him greater works than these, that ye may marvel." Well, it's amazing grace, and it's marvelous grace. Marvelous grace. How marvelous and wonderful what Jesus has done for his people. May we never, ever take God's grace for granted. May we always marvel and be amazed at His amazing grace. May the good Lord be with you today is my prayer. God bless.